Well, I had a ton of stuff to talk about last night, this morning, and it had to be pushed to this afternoon. I got a whole ton of stuff to talk about. Who's qualifying, who's schooling. Now, that was almost interrupted today, man. Insider trading trained good, and then we were putting her away, and she was sore right hind. But what had happened was she wears shims on the inside, so those are pieces of a rubber pad. What it does is kind of elevate the foot a little bit, and I had her shimmed out because she's brushing at her shins. She does it, Flash Fly does it. I think almost all of the green shoes we had did it, and what we'd had on them behind was egg bars, and then we actually put a shim to tip them out. Now you can lower their wall. I just didn't want to tinker with their walls at the time, but now we're going on 2.5 months with these shims in, and I think that rubber right there kind of weakened the wall, and maybe it shifted, maybe it opened a little bit, a little sore. So we're going to have Preston come in. We poulticed her up for today. I'm going to have Preston come in, clean those feet up, maybe fiberglass those walls like we did with Seasons of Love. We'll talk about her in a minute. And take the discomfort out of there. Now, will she be okay to go Friday? I don't know. That's going to be a game time decision. She trained great today. If the blacksmith comes tomorrow and we can work away at those feet, we can probably get her jogged tomorrow. And then can she school on Friday or qualify on Friday? As I said, that'll be a game time decision. But otherwise, she trained great, and minor scare for a minute. Anytime you see a horse come out of the stall a little bit sore after they train, it's concerning. But usually what you see in regards to lines in bones and whatnot is after the bath rack. You walk them out of the bath rack, they're quite sore. Certainly in their stall, they look uncomfortable, and nothing was even detected until they brought her out an hour and a half later, and then she seemed a little uncomfortable on that foot. It didn't take us very long to diagnose what it was, and start to alleviate it. Took the shoe off her, cleaned the foot up, poulticed that foot up for today. But again, we have to get that fiberglass before Friday. So hopefully Preston can find it in his heart to get that done. Flash Fly, who has the same shoeing, no issues with her walls, and she actually trained very, very good, very strong. We're going to draw her blood tomorrow. She was blowing quite a bit when she came in, but it was a good mile. I went a mile in 17 with her, last half in 6. I was pretty impressed with the way she did her work today. Very happy with her, but I did want to take a look at her blood. You know, this is the time of year they start going these quicker miles, and it's really hot out. They tying up a little bit of cramping. Do we need to treat that? Do we need to get out in front of that? We'll see. But for right now, all green lights for her, and maybe a little caution light with insider trading. But I'm sure we can get that alleviated before her qualifier. I also went with Seasons of Love, as I said today. Awesome. There was a lot of concern after same type of thing. Different foot, different type of issue, but similar. Throughout the winter, from time to time, she would come up sore right front. After you shot her, maybe get a nail a little close. It was the weirdest thing. She just had very brittle, very weak, very tender feet. And after Grand River, she was quite sore right front. We had got her shod, and there wasn't a whole lot of wall to work with. So Preston, again, they'll take what's called Equilux, it's virtually fiberglass, and build that foot up around the outside of the foot. And then in Seasons of Love case, actually nailed through the wall of the foot, nailed through the fiberglass rather than the wall to I guess circumvent any sort of tenderness in that foot, and it worked tremendously. The filly train that was as comfortable as I've ever seen her was this morning. I only went a mile in 2:30 because she did stand in the stall for a couple of days, but very, very happy with the way Seasons of Love looked today. AC Swan, first training trip after her bout of sickness. Man, she was a crabby little bugger to train. Trained her by herself, which probably isn't the best move for her, but she did her work. Went a mile in 25 and seemed good. So we'll continue on with her. Ready for Landing was awesome. I can't believe, I'm so happy to see this horse get better and better and better. He was good today again, training. Very, very happy with him. The only concern of the day, Howling in the Clouds just seems like left hind. She's a little uncomfortable on it, and I think a lot of that is from loading weight from that front end. You know, when you look at when we've generally what we do when horses come up sore on their knees or behind, we're in it right now with my father's horse just came off of that 3 weeks in the stall, 3 weeks in the pool. George of the Jungle just started it. The filly in Ohio, the creatine filly, just started it. We had horses that came off it absolute euphoria. Perfect example. She was off it, now is perfect. Now, it was 3 weeks in the stall, 3 weeks in the pool, and it took us another 3 weeks of jogging and training hard to get her where we need her. But again, she's pacing 53, coming 27, no signs of any sort of knee issues with her. So you really, it's a little bit different for each horse. It's a little bit different for each horse in each situation, depending on what the line looks like, where it is, how you treat it. But again, we do have, I would say we have a pretty good track record, but we do have a pretty good handle on, for each particular injury, how much time they need. And when it comes to Hallie, she doesn't really need any time because she already had it. But I'm thinking maybe I'm just going to turn her out in the field. I know a lot of my partners probably don't want to hear that, but she's such a big, enormous filly. I have to ask myself, we're in June right now. Do you see her coming forward, or do you see her just doing her work? She did her work. But I still see the same sort of inferiorities, those same sort of shortcomings that she had before. A little off left hind. I would like to figure out what the hell is going on with that left hind. She's always been that way, but it's not a gait thing. It seems to me that she's protecting something. We've had her fluoroscoped, x-rayed, and looked at. Nothing ever come up in that left hind. Maybe it is just a maturity thing, maybe with her stifle or a joint on that left hind. But regardless of what it is, or what it isn't, I think we just kick the horse out in the field and let her have the better part of the summer off to finish growing up, being a nice filly. And, we don't have a ton of great luck doing this because a lot of the horses we turn out are injured, right? And maybe they just weren't good enough at 2. This isn't that case, right? We have in the past had horses that we'd stop with and turned out and then come back very, very good. And I think Hallie in the Clouds fits into the latter, fits into that second file. She showed speed. Remember, she was at top of the list for a good month earlier on, and then got a little sore on her knees throughout the end of February, got making breaks and doing stupid things. But if you rewind to that first part, ton of speed there, ton of talent, and again, ton of breeding. So I think we just kind of back off with her. Just give her the summer. We're here now. It's June. What are we getting her ready for? August? We're going to drill her into the ground to have her ready for August to see if she can make the races, or do we just turn her out and let her become the horse that we bought? And I think that the field is the way we're going to find that horse, not continuing on with her. And there's no lameness issue. She doesn't need any time off. She doesn't need any vet work done. There's no lines that I would think are there. I would like to have a little peek at that left hind again, but again, I don't think it's a line issue. I think it's likely an immaturity issue in her left stifle, but I'd like to have it looked at. So that was the only thing about today, and they're very telling, but it's important that we get them out to the field. This is the start of the summer. The grass is nice. It's a great time for these horses to go out and dapple up. So if we're going to give them time, now is the time to do it. So those were the horses training today. Overall, very, very happy. We'll talk about last night really quickly. Cutie Cumber, a winner also. Very impressed with her yesterday. Yeah, he had to get at her to get by, but she's green. She's still green. She's still learning. A lot of racing ahead for Cutie Cumber, and impressed with the way she went about her work. Got the job done yesterday, and that is always important. So thanks to Megan for having her ready to go, and Matt Kakeli, a great drive from him. Then we had Perlucky. Now, Perlucky fits into a list. I could use him last, actually, because it'll be a good segue to a number of emails I got yesterday about horses. Is this horse moving? Is that horse moving? What are we doing with this horse? And Perlucky's one of those horses. Just doesn't seem like he's one of the best horses in the Open. You're right. He should be able to drop down, but they wouldn't let him drop down this week because it was a 5-horse Open. They needed another horse to fill the class. Hopefully, whoever won the backup class yesterday can go up in his place and he can drop down. It would be nice to see him finish off the latter part of the Oak Grove meet with a bang, because he is a nice horse. And if I thought there was a place we could just put him on a truck and send him and he'd have an immediate impact right now, he'd likely be on his way. But that upper echelon of trotters, it's tough. 52 to 54 is tough. And this horse, although he's been 5th or he's been 4th or whatever, or 3rd, that 53 and a piece, 54, still a very good horse. But now you're seeing that everybody has a good horse, right? A lot of people have a really good horse, and we have to race against everybody's horses. So there's not going to be any cakewalks when it comes to the Open at Oak Grove. I can assure you of that. We'll come back to that because there's about 4 or 5 horses on that list. So keep that fresh in your memory. We're talking about horses, where they're going, why they haven't moved yet, or when they are going to move. Keep that fresh in your mind because we're going to come back to that. I'm going to finish off yesterday's list. So Cutie Cumber winner, Perlucky was 5th, but only beat 2 lengths. Then we came to Ontario, and I saw Locatelli race good. Thought he was a little flat going under the wire. I know little mixed signals. I know that Nelly was a little upset. James said was a little upset with her because James said he should have won. as he should have. But finishing second in the open trot, there's nothing wrong with that. The horse looked good. And if this is him not at his best, which he doesn't appear that he is, scary animal. He can't always be good. This is the heat, the start of the summer and allergy season also. Is it playing a little bit of a plaguish role with Locatelli? Quite possibly it is. It's not the end of the world. If, as I said, if he's got to muscle through the summer and only finish first, second, third, fourth in the open and preferred and free for all every week, well, oh darn, cry me a river. I think we'll be just fine. The horse is in a good spot. He looks good. Harry's doing great with him, and the horse can't be awesome all the time. And if this is him not awesome, that is awesome for us. Stay close. Oh, he's on the other list. Little spoiler alert. Locatelli, White Tiger, I thought, okay, coming off a couple of breaks, coming off 3 breaks, coming off the list, qualifying list, and getting into the race. Was he good? Yeah. James said, I thought he was good. Put a couple of steps in coming out of the last turn. Was a little concerning for a second, but was fine afterwards. I think he's just touching in a new place. I'd said to Amy, maybe just throw a set of pasturing boots on, just little strips that fit around the pasturing. Just feels like he's touching up where that speedy cut is. That's where I would bet. Anyway, when you see them shifting their weight coming out of the turn into the straightaway, it's usually really high, like up in their jack where he used to touch, but I don't think he is anymore, or really low. And I think in this case, right now with White Tiger, from what I could see anyway, I would suggest it's probably a little bit low. But nevertheless, 53, 27, and 2 on the end of it. Not a poor mile from White Tiger, and I think he's probably sitting on the doorstep of a pretty good win now that he's lost a lot of money off his card and fits really, really cheap. So that was Tiger, and then Resolute Bay just went out and showed how tough he is again. I had a message from somebody saying, he wasn't sound. He's never been sound, so okay, he wasn't sound. His feet and his knees bother him. The thing that I always loved the most about Resolute Bay was his tenacity. The fact that he was tough. The fact that he went out and did his work when his knees and his feet do bother him, and always have bothered him. So Resolute Bay, I think, rounding in a form where he feels more comfortable on the track, chasing that speed earlier on, it could have been extremely detrimental. Instead, it was just mildly detrimental. But a little food for thought next year when we start talking about that series and series like that. Not going to be in a big hurry to get them ready for those series, I can assure you of that next time. So Resolute Bay bouncing back nicely, a mile, 53 and 2 last night. We had a race card full of 53 trotters. Pretty good day at the office, I think. And 54 for Per Lucky? Pretty good day. So as I said, we'll end with Per Lucky in that regard and start with him again. As I said, a lot of people asking about some horses. Where are they at? What are they doing? Maybe I didn't update you well enough, and I apologize about that. And then some other people saying, why don't we move the horses here? In regards to Sintra, I've had no less than 6 emails in the last week asking me if we can move them to no less than 6 jurisdictions in the last week. And my answer to everybody, both firmly or joyfully, just joking around, was he's not going anywhere right now. And I'll tell you why. He's down now in the numbers of 9,000, 8,000, whatever it is. He can win that class at Mohawk. He can win that class anywhere on planet Earth. Next is what I'm worried about. What happens next to Sintra? And somebody said, well, he could go to Plain Ridge. Yeah, he get his face beat in the open. They went in 49. Patrick the Piranha is struggling right now. And you might say, well, he beat Patrick the Piranha. This is a different Sintra. And as one of our clients pointed out so nicely, he's now 10. And soon, next year he'll be 11. He can't stay great forever. You're 100% right. But I guess I can argue devil's advocate on that and just say, hey, go back and look at how he was when Dave Maneri had him before we got him. It's the exact same chart lines. Identical. And then the horse came forward. Now, was that a burn change? Was that just he came back to life? Or maybe you're right. Maybe he is getting a little bit older. Somebody said, oh, he's a 30 claimer now. He's far from a 30 claimer now, in case you're wondering. And he might be a 30 claimer at Yonkers. We don't have to send him to Yonkers. He might be fit great in the optional 45 in Mohawk. He's not going in the 45. And I have to remind everybody, each horse is a little bit different. And I'm going to defer to the trainer. I don't believe there's a track right now where we could consistently get in and do good every week with Sintra. Sure, he could go somewhere and win. No doubt in my mind he could. He could go to the Meadows. He could go to Plain Ridge. He could go to Michigan. Yes, he could. He could go to Ohio. He could go to Kentucky. I could go on and on and on until we ran out of jurisdictions. He can win his next start, maybe 2, in a lot of places. Then where do you want to go? Because he can't do in the open at Plain Ridge. Open at the Meadows when it fills, which it doesn't all the time, is tough also. The open everywhere is tough. And I'm not putting him in a 30 claimer, but I will remind everybody that you can put your shares up for sale at the stable, right? And if you think he's only worth 30,000 US, which is what, 42 Canadian, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that there would be a lineup of people happy to purchase your share of Sintra for anywhere between 500 or maybe even a little more for Sintra right now. So if you are certain he's only worth 30 American, I suggest the best thing to do is put your shares up for sale, in which case it'll be somebody else's conversation to have in the very near future. So, and that isn't me being snotty or snarly. That's just me reminding everybody that if you don't agree with the trajectory in any particular horse at the stable, there's no need to fight or argue. Simply put your shares up for sale. That's why it's there. We implemented the sale board for that reason, so that people can move their shares and they don't feel frustrated and locked in and locked down. I see people do it all the time. So Sintra is staying here for the time being. Is he going to stay here all summer? Probably not. But I don't know where he's going to go yet. There's no need to make any, and for everybody that said, oh, he's lost a step. He paced 150 flat 2 starts ago, in case you're wondering. 150 flat. He's made 9,000 his last 5. He's missed 1 check. So I need everybody to just take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Let the people do the job. Harry's done a great job with the horse. You know, he's made way, way, way more. If the horse dropped dead right now, there isn't a human being that owns him that didn't have a great time and didn't make money. Actually, if we're really going to talk about it, didn't make money with the horse. Horse has been a very good horse to us. Sintra has been and will continue to be a nice horse for the stable, and there is no need and no rush just to dump the horse. So I think that's fair. I think I've covered every angle when it comes to Sintra. And I appreciate it, though. I do appreciate when people email me. And if I do have a little bit of a tone in my voice, it's just because I'm under a lot of stress. And it has nothing to do with Sintra. Sintra is the least of my worries on planet Earth right now. I'm not too worried about that. Just a lot going on with the babies and getting the sophomores underway and working on horses that just seem to get, brace for landing, seem to get to the point and then fell apart a little bit. Stuff like that bothers me and keeps me up at night. So my apologies if it sounds like I have a little chip on my shoulder when it comes to Sintra. I certainly don't. Or any of my partners in the horse. Stay Close, another horse. What are we doing with this guy? So his AST, I don't think I reported it quickly enough, and I do apologize. His AST was extraordinarily high last week. I couldn't for the life of me understand how he looked so poor, so weak. We got his AST back, and it was 10,800, which is 10 times more than it needed to be to make a negative impact in his racing. He'll bounce back quickly. We'll probably have him into school this week. Actually, Dominic's right there. I'm going to ask him. What are you planning on doing with Stay Close this week? Oh, right, Georgian. I apologize. I forgot. Yeah.
And
How low is it?
CK is really low.
Yeah, which I knew.
Okay.
What's the AST? 4,000?
1,000.
Oh, 1,000. That's nothing. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so I train tomorrow.
That's fine. Well, there you heard from the horse's mouth. Stay Close going to Georgian Downs. And how much does the class go for?
It depends. If they open up the 35.
What if they don't? What if it's a 5,000 though? What's it?
10. Something.
So you still
Renegade Gypsy, not Renegade Gypsy, the last class.
Do you need a starting fee, Dom?
For tonight, yeah.
Yeah. So
Your LASIK, is that all right?
What's
okay,
that?
you guys work that out. I'm doing a video right now.
Oh,
Yes. So Stay Close is going to Georgian.
Stay Close.
Stay Close is going to Georgian
we're
Downs
lucky,
this time.
If we're lucky, it's Saturday. If we're going where it's Sunday.
It'll either be Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
So what Dominic is saying is they have to open up. They have a cap on the nominators of 3,500 last 4. If they open up that cap, he can fit in the nominators of 3,500. If they don't open that cap up, then he'll have to win the nominators at 5,000, which is fine. The whole point of that also is to get him raced in a race that is less than 15,000, so he can go back to racing in the class he did very well in. So that's where we're at with Stay Close, and I definitely did a piss poor job bringing that to everybody. The AST on the horse and the plan on the horse. I forgot about it until I just asked Dominic again. What are you looking for, honey?
I need a starting fee.
You don't have a check in here?
I'm looking.
Not in here though?
Those are American.
Two other questions that people have asked me for the last 2 weeks, and I've been vague. No free lunch, and what's the Mickey horse? What's his first name?
JK
Mickey Mantle, right. So JK Mickey Mantle and No Free Lunch are both schooling this week. Oh my God.
There it is. Sorry, am I annoying you?
Yeah, a little bit. You're annoying me a little bit, yeah. Yeah, just a little bit. So JK Mickey Mantle and No Free Lunch will be into school this week. JK Mickey Mantle got a little bit sick over the last couple of weeks, but he's bounced back well now. And No Free Lunch, he was ready to go like a month ago, but then he knuckled over and hit his left hind ankle, just being a goof, and bruised it. He was a little bit sore on it, so I guess the extra time is going to only go in a positive direction for his front end, and it's what his back end needed. So he's ready to go now. Trained him in 2-2 or 2-3 the other day also. Both those horses will, confirmed by Harry Polton today, will be schooling on Friday. Looks like Money will be heading to New Jersey. I gave Harry the option. He said, it's been a long time since I've been this tempted to go on the road with a horse. Harry went on the road, obviously. Matt Scooter on the road again. He said it's been, and if you know Harry, he is a homebody. And he's for him to be that tempted to go to New Jersey with Looks Like Money it just goes to show you how much he thinks of Looks Like Money. But he'll be in good hands. He's going to Megan Scran. I don't know if there's going to be a race for him this weekend at the Meadowlands. If not, they'll qualify him. The last thing you want to do is just get him beat up. So just don't throw him in the open trot just because he can get in the open trot. And I think Megan knows that, and she did the right thing. She texted me a couple of things this morning. Said it'll be up to the race office if they fill a class that is suitable for him. But I'd rather not have him in the open trot, which makes sense. So good for her. So it looks like Money will race, I believe, next Friday or next Saturday at New Jersey. He'll stay there for a month. And then we have options, a ton of options with him. And his return will, at the very least, be in August for, I believe it's a Maple Leaf Trot, if I'm not mistaken. And if he returns before then, so be it. But we do have options all throughout the summer. We paid a lot of money to stake him to a lot of Grand Circuit stuff. And I think warranted, given how he raced all winter and all spring. And then even accentuated by the way he qualified and then come back 51-4 his first race. He belongs in that class. He belongs with those horses. And he's going to New Jersey very, very soon. I'm just waiting for Doyle. It'll be tomorrow. It won't be the next day. I'm sure it'll be tomorrow. So those horses, little updates for those 6 in particular. Per Lucky staying the course for now. You'll probably see Per Lucky end up back out in Illinois and Indiana with Mr. Eaton, with Jim Eaton. He did a great job with him. So Per Lucky will likely end up there. Stay close. We'll be going to Georgian Downs this week. To get a race into him, but most importantly, to get a purse that is less than $15,000 so he can fit back in a little cheaper. Sintra is going to stay the course here. For now, I'm open to all options, and obviously you've given me many, but for now, he's going to stay right here. JK Mickey Mantle and No Free Lunch will be schooling on Friday, and Looks Like Money will be heading to New Jersey very, very soon. Now, the 3 horses, I'm going to get into the qualifiers this week in Ontario. Now, obviously, we talked about insider trading. There's a possibility she's still going to qualify. So we have insider trading, Flash Fly, Lonely Lakewood, and potentially Ready for Landing. I was very impressed with him again today. This is what I wanted to see, and I'm happily surprised because I just didn't think we would. Where are we going right now? Home? Gotta take the dog home, right?
Then what do we do?
I gotta call and get a rental. And
In Guelph?
In Guelph, yeah. And then we'll figure everything else out.
I have to be there too.
I can drop you off, worst case, or you can drop me off and I can wait for it. So, Flash Fly, Insider Trading, Lonely Lakewood, and potentially Ready for Landing. Those 4 horses qualifying Friday at Mohawk for the first time ever. Schooling would be possibly Bruno. Don't talk about Bruno. Great Bet, Jay Port, Mick Paisley.
What's this?
Possibly schooling. It's not a guarantee. Relax. Who's that down there? Mounds for All. And, my God, my writing is terrible. Who's that horse?
Time is on my side.
Wow. You got good eyes. And
I
bad
really
eyes at the
don't.
same time. Time is on my side. May not school this week. I just looked in on him. He's laying down. He was a little bit sick the other day. And I know there's a lot of people saying, Anthony, it's the July the whatever. I don't care about the July the whatever. We have much bigger fish to fry with this colt. And when he's ready to go, he'll be ready to go. He's trained down well. He's done his work well. I'm not going to rush him now. He was a little bit sick last week. If he schools Friday, great. If he misses Friday, I'm okay with that too. But he'll be ready when he's ready. You may notice Punch the Clock's not on this list. Yes, she's not ready to school yet. Obviously, she's already seen the gate at Grand River Raceway. We want to do right by the filly also. We'll give you an updated calendar a little closer to the end of June when it comes to this is where we see Time Is On My Side. This is where we see Punch the Clock and horses like them. But for right now, qualifying on Friday will be Flash Fly, possibly Insider Trading, most definitely Lonely Lakewood, and possibly Ready for Landing. Schooling, we have a host of horses that could school that are very close to. If it's this week, if it's Tuesday, if it's next Friday, then so be it. But we'll get them behind the gate and get them going. Heading to Kentucky. A lot of people asking, when are they leaving? Who are they going to? What is going on? They're going to Eric Paddlin. Eric works for us. He's our guy in Oak Grove. We will be sending down Militant. I've decided I am going to send him because he's in New Jersey. And there's not a lot of racing for him anywhere. Send him to Oak Grove, right? Do I think he can be Pickpocket now? No, not right now. That doesn't mean that he can't get better and better and better and learn a lot from his trip down to Kentucky, and he's dual eligible, so if we decide to leave him in Kentucky, then so be it. We have the option to do that also. So Militant, Pickpocket, and Urson will be leaving Friday morning. Somebody asked, do they need to get down and I like when the horses get down and get 10 days to get acclimated. I hate it and won't do it. I don't like the 10 days before and get acclimated down there. Una Madonna went down the day before last year. It's make sure you understand one thing. It is the devil's armpit in Kentucky. It is hot as hell. As my uncle used to say, it is hotter than the inside of a cow in Kentucky. So they'll be heading down Friday, either mid-afternoon, depending on the weather and what the weather's going to be like in Kentucky, or Saturday morning for a Monday race. That's the first lifetime start for Pickpocket, Arson, and Militant. Now, the rest of the questions. Anthony, you didn't give us a real good list of who's qualifying Thursday. You are 100% correct. I did not do a very good job doing that. I have 22 on this list. I think Jason and I discussed 23. I believe the horse missing from this is Sunset Acres Girl because there's no rush to qualify her. Yes, she has a stake on July the 6th, but there's no big hurry with Sunset Acres Girl. She'll likely school Wednesday off the gate. We have some horses going off the gate on Wednesday, but for right now, I'm going to give you a complete list of who I have told Jason we're probably going to start qualifying on Thursday morning. Now, Scott Zeron is going to be in attendance. My brother Mark is on the fence. No guarantees. Usually when he's on the fence, he's not really on the fence. He's really not coming. But I get the feeling that him and Scott have talked about it, and Scotty was really enthusiastic about it. You know, that's the kind of guy that Scotty is, though. You know, those guys are busy, and I don't even begrudge James for not coming over when we needed him to before. They got a lot on their plate, too. It's not easy just to drive all over the place, jump out of your car, get on a bike, get back in your car, drive somewhere else. Not everybody likes that. Not everybody can do that, and it's hard sometimes. And especially when what's waiting at your first destination is a bunch of qualifying races for 2-year-olds. It's not always an easy thing to sell everybody, and I do appreciate the fact that Scott is coming down. I do appreciate that. I hope that Mark does, and if he can't, I understand it also. So here's your list, A to Z, who I had sent to Jason this morning. We have Activation will be qualifying on Thursday. Affection will be qualifying on Thursday. Antilles Hanover, Blanton's Blue, Born to Dance will re-qualify. He's got a little mini pop-up thing coming in the middle of the June at Northfield Park for the babies, I believe. Be nice to get some racing into him because he is a bit of a scatterbrain, and I would like to get some racing muscle on him before we have to really make the decision of this is our entry into the next generation for the 2-year-old pacing colts, because we do have the option to sell it, I believe. And before we push that button, that entry button, I want to make sure that he's capable. I know a lot of people, I had some emails last week from people saying, I don't think he's good enough. Well, how would you know? It's that behind him. We're going to find out soon enough if Born to Dance is good enough. He'll let us know. I'm not going to make that decision. You're not going to make that decision. That decision will be made by Born to Dance soon enough. Gypsy Hill will be qualifying. I'm Fancy Like will be back in to qualify again this week for a very similar reason to Born to Dance, except that next generation, she's not going there. But be nice to get a couple of miles into her and get her moving for the start of the summer. Irresistible Sun will be qualifying. Mel Gibson will be qualifying. Memory and Imagination, he looked awesome the other day. He's going to be qualifying. Paycheck Princess will also be going behind the gate qualifying. Prince Charmer, he'll be qualifying. Pull the Shoes was amazing the other day. I can't wait to get behind her. I almost wanted to put Scotty on her, but then I decided on greedily. Is that a word? Is that a word, greedily?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think it is, but I'm going to use it anyway. Greedily. I'm going to go with Pull the Shoes. I just like driving her. I like going with her. Purple People Eater is qualifying. Really don't care. Yes, I skipped over her. Apologies. One of her best horses. She is qualifying on Thursday. Royal Emeralds is qualifying on Thursday. Now, there's a question mark there because she did scope sick the other day. So we are going to draw her blood the day before. So actually, her blood was supposed to be drawn today. If they draw it tomorrow, they're going to have to rush it. Because Royal Emeralds could easily qualify if she's healthy. Sedona Hill is qualifying. Southwind Digit is qualifying. Yes, Joel, Sweeney will be in to qualify on Thursday. Vaquero Blue Chip, our girl Venice Blue Chip, is definitely going to be in to qualify. And Victory Blue Chip. That's my list. I got 22, if my arithmetic is proper. So that is all I can tell you today thus far. Talked about last night briefly. Thought we had a pretty good night at the office, all in all. I talked about what went on this morning, the good and the bad. There's not really a whole lot of bad. Yes, I said that we're going to give Hallie some time off, but I think she deserves it. It's a very, very well-bred, nice filly that showed a lot of potential earlier on and has struggled a little bit. I want to believe, and I have every reason to believe, that that's just immaturity, and we can help her out with that. And then insider trading, that soreness afterwards. We found the problem to that. We're going to fix that up. Can she qualify Friday? Only if she's 100%. So we will see what she brings us tomorrow. And we talked about the horses that are going to Kentucky, Militant, and Oak Grove is what I'm talking about off the hop anyway. Militant, Arson, and Pickpocket will be heading down Friday afternoon, I believe. We talked about a lot of the questions I got this week. Looks like Money's heading to New Jersey with Megan Scran right away. JK Mickey Mantle, and Lunch are both schooling on Friday. Sintra, Stay Close, and Per Lucky, I gave you guys updates on them and all the horses. So now, I believe it's fair to assume you now know everything I know about all the horses in the barn. We had some injuries to discuss that are still ongoing with Cowboy and Lover's Play. George of the Jungle and Oh Snap You are going to go on that 3 weeks in the stall, 3 weeks in the pool. But the other two horses are still a bit in limbo. So now you really know everything going on with all the horses in the barn, I believe, unless I missed another one. But there is a lot going on, so forgive me if I did. With that, I'll let you go. I hope you guys had a wonderful day. Pretty good day in Ontario, heading to Ohio this evening. Thanks.